started preparing this after our last meeting and had gotten the basics done, and then had a sudden issue that came up that required my going to England. I got back Sunday night. As you can hear, I'm not in particularly good shape, but I will try to get through this. My mind and my spirit are on the way coming, so if I don't make sense, please ask questions and I'll try to sort that out. So I want to talk about Publisher Rocket. We all want to feel that we can put our books up on Amazon and that somehow, miraculously, out of those millions of books, people will find ours. And then they don't. So I discovered Publisher Rocket, and I'll tell you how I got to learn about that. This guy is amazing. I think he was like an aeronautical engineer or something. And then he got into doing this examination of Amazon. And it's just incredible what this program will do. And the helps and everything on it the tutorials are actually helpful, which is not normally the case for me. The way I learned about this was through the Women in Publishing Summit. I got involved in this about 3 years ago. It was during the pandemic. And the people running this, they do publishing, but they realized that people often need more training in how to write, how to publish, how to market, how to do all kinds of things, and especially if you're going to self-publish. And so they have this training opportunity. It's for a week, usually in March. I think the cost right now is $147. It's all virtual, so you have access to it for time afterwards. Men can also participate, but it is primarily targeted at women. And this is where I learned about Tenderpreneur. So Publisher Rocket itself, because you will want to know this, there's a one-time cost of $97. That may seem like a lot, but when you see what it will do, hopefully, that will make sense. This includes all updates, and they are continually doing research, and these are reflected in the updates. So everything I'm showing you comes directly from him. I know nothing other than what he's told me, but I'm just going to try to present it so that you're aware of what this is all about. So, as I said, please, if you need to ask a question, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to try to take this slowly. I'm on meds that may make me go, and so if I do, just give me the slow down system symbol, and I'll try to slow down. Keywords are crucial to, when you put your book up on Amazon, you need to fill in some keywords. Well, when I was starting to do that, I'm thinking, keywords? Okay, well, let's see. And I'm just picking things that came out of my head. Well, that isn't necessarily going to be the most helpful for it to become discoverable. And so in his research, he has found that if you are number one in a keyword category, then you have a 27% chance that people will find you. If you're number two, that drops to 12%.
What was the first percent?
27. And it falls off rapidly after that. So let's assume that if your book is ranked number 5 in a particular category, if there are 1,000 searches per month, then 70 people might find your book. That doesn't mean they buy your book, they just find it, right? If you're number one, then of the 1,000 people searching, 270 people will find your book. Well, that's a whole lot better odds. And if you want this PowerPoint, you're welcome to have it afterwards. Now, fortunately, you get more than one keyword. So as you use your 7 available keywords, those can add up to quite a number of things because you have different keywords that will hit in different, number 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And you will actually be able to get found. So the crucial question is, what makes a good keyword? What we would all like to know. Well, the first is you want to have a keyword that shoppers really use. And how do you know what shoppers really use? Well, I didn't know. I don't expect you to. Now, if shoppers don't find what they're looking for, they will change their keyword to something else until they find what they're looking for. And those are the words that shoppers use to buy. So you don't want them to just find you, you want them to buy you. But you need to help people who are looking for you to get there. You also want to have words that aren't too competitive. And I'll talk about that in a bit, just so you explain that. So, I know this is small, but I couldn't make it any bigger. So, basically, if your keyword is write a cookbook, so it will find if people have looked for write a cookbook, or writing a cookbook, then it will give you that, and there's a whole bunch of information that goes along with that. So it tells you like the average number of pages, your number of competitors, so this is greater than 1,200 competitors. The average price is $12. The average monthly earnings are 95. And the number of searches on Amazon is less than 100 per month. And then it gives you a competitive score. Okay. Now, so you've said writing a cookbook. So then what it does is take off that last word. So it's writing A. So writing a book, writing a business plan, writing a novel. And then it takes off the A and goes to writing about literature, writing about writing analytically, et cetera, et cetera. So it will give you a list of potential keywords that you can use. And it will tell you what you can expect if your book fits in one of those keywords. And if you want to see those books, you press on that little green thing at the end, and it will show you the top 10 books that you're competing against. Okay, so that's a lot of useful information.
And this has to do with those keywords, not in an Amazon ad, but the ones that you actually enter when you're...
Yes, when you are...
Those 7
boxes, when you are putting your book on Amazon, there's 7 boxes, and I'll talk about the 7 boxes in a little bit. And you can fill those in, and how you fill those in is crucial as to whether they can find your book. So that's where the keywords come in. Okay? We all together? So I said you have competition. Okay, there are other people out there writing, and so this is a competition analyzer. So we were on keyword search. Now we're on competition analyzer. So if your how to write is your keyword, then it will give you the top 10 books in that are showing up in using that keyword in this category. And you can decide if it's going to be an ebook, a proper book, a paper book, or an Audible book. So that whatever people are searching for, that's what you can reflect that. So they look at who the author is. Age is not the age of the author, but how many days of the book has been available. I'm not sure what some of those other numbers are. But it gives you the daily sales, $189, and the monthly sales, $4,356. Would we all like to get in on that? And if you want to see that book, you can click on check it out, and it will take you to that book and all the information about it. So here's another look at that page. So how to write a book, step, whatever. And so again, you can see this is an ebook, and you can click on this, see the categories, and it will show you this, which is the categories in which they're listed. And frankly, I don't know how you would ever find all these categories yourself. So you've got Kindle eBooks reference, writing, research and publishing guides, writing skills. And then it shows you how many books on the last thing here, how many books you have to sell to get to number 10 in that category.
In a day or general?
In a day.
Too bad.
Yeah. So it's really important to get your keywords right. Now, a lot of us write fiction books, and so the types of fiction keywords, you want to cover 5 things. You want to be clear about the setting and the time period, the character types and roles, the plot theme, the events and the situation, and the story tone. I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. For nonfiction, I don't know how I got this PowerPoint wrong, but I fixed it sort of. You want to talk about what is the pain point. Okay, maybe it's losing weight, something. The results and the solution. What's this book going to do for you? Emotional amplifiers. Will it do it quickly? And do you have a demographic? So if you're talking about running, then you want to appeal to runners. So you need runners in there so that runners can get to you. So what they suggest is that you list keywords that are a sample of that would be a good descriptive phrase for a target reader for your book. So here it says fantasy. Okay, this rocket will give you a list of all the different keywords that you could choose for fantasy. So are you fantasy harem, harem adventure, fantasy romance, free fantasy books, which obviously doesn't get you any earnings, urban fantasy, fantasy academy, fantasy adventure, etc., etc. And so so that gives you a lot of ideas. So depending on what your book is like, you want to find the keywords that come closest to a category, to things that would match your book. And then it will tell you, it tells you your number of competitors, the monthly earnings, the number of Amazon searches for that keyword in a month. And then it gives you a competition score, competitive score. So things might be how to lose weight fast, gas lamp, supernatural romance, Evernote for authors, military sci-fi space marines, whatever your thing is. But you want it to be real terms that Amazon already has that will fit your book. And you need to know that shoppers look for them. So if shoppers are not looking for them, then you don't want to go there. Because they're not buying books from that. So the Amazon searches per month is really crucial to know if that's really something. Because down here, these are fewer than 100. You don't want anything that's fewer than 100 on Amazon. You also, it would be nice to know how much these books make. Well, there you go. It comes up just like that. And if you want to see what the competition is, you go over and click on that, and it will show you the competition. So you can look in various categories of what you write and get ideas, and then it will come up with this list of possibilities for keywords and show you the Amazon searches. So here we've got a whole bunch that are fewer than 100. That basically means that when people put that keyword in, they didn't find what they wanted, so they did something else. Or they didn't like that book, and so they didn't do anything with it. So there are a whole bunch of those, so you want to stay away from those. But obviously, alien invasion, 405 searches a month. Pandemic was nearly 2,000. So it kind of gives you an idea of what the options are and where you might want to go with that. And then you can also ask it to give you a competition score. Now, a competition score combines the popularity of the book, the fame of the author, the keyword in the title and subtitle, and title and subtitle are considered one thing in Amazon. The number of reviews, the ratings, and the age of the book. So here you can see there's quite a variety from 90 to 1. They reckon that if you are if you're a new author or a relatively unknown author, that you aim for a competition score of 40 or below. If you're an author that has a good email list, you have some following, your website gets some attention, or your Facebook or whatever you're using, then 60 or below is your target. If you're Stephen King, you can go with 90. Okay. So that's kind of how you judge, and that's why that competition score is so helpful, is to know, if you're number 1, well, okay. I mean, that's okay, but is that really that good? Maybe it's easy to get into, but it may not be what you want. Whereas 20 or 30 might be more hopeful. You've got a little more competition, but it might be something that people are more interested in too. So, so this is an example of the competition score. And again, if you want to see who is in that competition, you just click on the little green thing and it shows you the top 10 books that you're competing against. So, what should you put in those 7 boxes? So, does everybody know what the 7 boxes are?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. So, you want to keep track of my notes here, and I'm not sure I'm doing that, but anyway, we'll just go with this. So, it must be relevant to your book. If you just pick some phrase out of the air that doesn't have direct relationship with your book, Amazon will throw it out. Yeah.
They'll warn you. Yeah. Can't write it down.
Because they see the metadata that's in your book. And so if your keyword doesn't match your metadata, then you're in trouble with them, okay? You want Amazon searches per month greater than 100. Obviously, the higher that goes, the better. But you don't want to get it too high because then you're in Stephen King territory. Existing or explained sales. He told me what explained sales were, but I can't remember. So anyway, existing sales. And so there again is your competition score that you're looking for. Any questions on that so far? We good? Okay, so Dave does fantasy books. And so he looked up, he got this list and chose from this the ones that he felt were most representative of his book or of books that he would want to read. And so he's got Alien Attack, which is a competition of 30, Sci-Fi Military, which is 45, Colonization, which is 70, Futuristic War Novel 61, Space Marine Battle 70, and Mech Warrior 40. I don't even know what that stuff is. But anyway, so going back to, this is a fiction, so of the fiction things that you're looking for, setting and time period, Space Marine Battles was what he felt was closest to this book. Character types and roles, so Mech Warrior seemed to fit that. Plot theme, alien attack. I'm not sure why aliens are always attacking us, but anyway. And then, of course, the other things. So he's chosen Mech Warrior, Alien Attack, and Space Marine Battles for the 3. Now, here, Alien Attack was a 30. Space Marine Battles is a 70. And Mech Warrior is a 40. So there's some that are lower competition and one that's a higher competition. So after that, in the boxes, so you got 4 more boxes, you can put up to 50 characters. And so you can put as many of these words in there that are applicable to your book. So military, sci-fi, expeditionary, force, battle, cruiser. Interstellar, galaxy, war-torn resistance. Planetary bombardment, repel starship. Bug hunt, gunner, officer, soldier, rebellion. Okay, so he's just putting words in there. But all of those things are related to his book. So
Leoma?
Yeah.
If you have it crowded with like 7 different terms in one of those last boxes, if somebody is searching, somebody's have to search for all those terms? Or
No.
if they search for
No.
one, they'll hit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've looked into this a little bit, I find, what I didn't know is that it was valuable to only fill some of those spaces with all the words you can get. I thought that why, do we know why it's more valuable to have a few that are just one phrase? That's just what he said.
They find that if you repeat a word, it doesn't help you, but it doesn't hurt you. So he wants you to get your best key phrases in 3 or 4 boxes. And then the remaining boxes you can fill with as many terms from your list that are pertinent that you want. Yeah.
In these remaining boxes where you're stringing them together, they don't have to relate to each other.
No.
It's just.
As long as they relate to your book.
They all have something to do with the book.
Yes.
But not with each other.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
All right?
So the phrases in the boxes will be indexed unless the phrase, the search result, nobody ever asks for that. So they don't index it that because nobody ever asked for that, so why would they ever find it? So they don't do that. If it doesn't fit the data of your book, they won't index it. And if it has heinous terms, unacceptable terms for Amazon, they won't put it in there. So, other than that, you can put pretty much anything. Now, another important thing is that if the book's subtitle is concise and subject relevant, then you need to add that to your title because they see title and subtitle as title. Okay. And they found that when a book had the keyword in the title or subtitle, it was indexed 100% of the time. So your title is really important. You need to think about your title before you finalize it because you may need one of these words in it. And if it was in there, it increased 37% of the rankings.
So if it was in the subtitle and also one of your keywords, yes. Would you say that would be one that should be individual?
Probably. But not necessarily, but at least it needs to be there. So, I mean, I'm looking at bringing out a revised version of a book, and I thought, okay, I need to seriously think about what my title needs to be so that I can reflect some keywords so that they're going to relate to this. So the 7 keyword boxes for nonfiction, think about who is this for? And what is it about? And what will it do for me? Those are questions that readers want to know. Is this for me? Is it going to help? You know, what's it about? Is it going to be something that will do something for me? For fiction, they want to know, is it my kind of genre? And does it fit my description? So here's an example. So for this book, Temple of Sorrow, it's a lit RPG. I have no idea what that means. Maybe you write this kind of thing, you know? But that's the genre. And the subgenre is game lit. And more information is adventure. So they have put those key words in the title of the book, and therefore it will be indexed.
Leoma,
Yes.
lit RPG is probably literary RPG, role-playing game.
Yeah, probably.
Well, how would you find out that that's an abbreviation that you should use? You should use lit instead of literary.
Well, you
Just trial and
can
error?
you can go through the keywords and do a keyword search and try
Just-
different
just
things,
keep
and it
searching
will
till you find
show
it.
up.
Okay,
Because this is giving you thousands of keywords.
yeah.
that you
It'd be
wouldn't
hard to find.
know otherwise to use. So for nonfiction, limitless, upgrade your brain. Okay, that's your pain point. The result is learn anything, the emotional amplifier faster, and the result will be unlock your exceptional life. So those are, and hopefully they'll just hit that buy now with one click. And it's also interesting that whatever shows up in your reviews gets indexed, which I was not aware of.
Well, that's not good.
Well, it depends on how good the
Everybody
reviews
gets
are.
bad reviews.
Well, so,
Oh, I see. Yeah, I
so
see
when
those.
you see this, so if you go down, if you go down, you'll see this with your book somewhere. Over reviews, they'll have all these little keywords. It's indexed for all of those.
Wait, you say words marked in reviews, who's marking those words? The reviewer?
No, if they're in the review,
Uh-huh.
Amazon will pick them and put them, and I expect they will do the ones that will be most complimentary to
Amazon
you, because
marks
they
them.
want to, they pull them out and index them for you.
But not every word of every review.
No.
How do they choose? Who chooses?
Well, I expect they look at how many people say highly recommended for. I don't know how they choose. I mean, how does Amazon do anything?
I'm pretty confident there's an algorithm.
I'm sure there's an algorithm.
Yeah, it's always an algorithm, isn't it?
But anyway, I thought that was interesting. They have the option of indexing you in any number of categories, and if they see that you're indexed here, but that people who have a similar keyword are also, you would do well over here, they'll put you over there. Their goal is to sell books or to sell whatever. And so whatever helps the customer find what they want, that's what they're adding. And so they can put you in however many categories you want to be in, but you can't put you in more than your 7 boxes. So that's what I know. Yes?
So, new author uses a off-the-shelf publisher. The publisher takes care of
Of doing that.
putting the book on Amazon, putting the book on Barnes & Noble, wherever. How do you find out if the publishers put in keywords and what they are without joining the publisher rocket, or do you have to do that?
No. Well,
You can see the keywords. They're at the top. If nobody's used them, there's a copy, somebody's used them, and then you get your rank on it.
When-
Is there on the ad? Or
On your post, on your link.
when my launching into the unknown book was done by a publisher. And within a couple days, I was #1 in 2 different categories. And I mean, I didn't even have sense enough to know to look, but anyway, they pointed it out to me. And, and because they had chosen categories that would match. And so I was hitting #1 right quick. And, which was amazing to me. But so now I'm looking at books that basically my publishing didn't know to do that. So now I'm looking at doing it. And so where do I need to make sure these books are? And if you have a publisher, you need to go through the publisher if they haven't done it properly. Or if you're doing it yourself, then you can go in and hopefully fix some of those.
Leoma?
Yeah.
I was gonna answer that. On your book, just click on it, and then keep clicking on it until they show everything below. On Amazon, we'll have the
Yeah.
keywords that your publisher has put on. And I was also gonna go on and say, with my first book, the airline book, I was either one or two in the very beginning, but how I found out about keywords is I looked up airlines and clicked on that, and the other book that was we switched back and forth between 1 and 2. He wasn't about airlines, he was about being a server in the Caribbean. But he came up first often because he used the word Caribbean, and I didn't. So, and I couldn't, because I had nothing about the Caribbean in mind. But you can find, like, my next book is gonna be on Africa, so I'm gonna click on Africa, find out who's number 1 on that, then look at their keywords and try and use similar keywords, so I can be right up there too.
You can do all of this yourself, but it's very time intensive. And you don't necessarily have access to all things like the competitive score. Some of this stuff is basically Amazon only, and they don't turn that loose to the general public. But but with Rocket, you just click it and it's there.
You said that, I give him $100 and I get all these updates. Would I be correct to assume that the updates have to do with the fact that all those numbers are gonna be shifting as time goes on, and Amazon's gonna
As
change
more books are added.
competitive score and all that kind of stuff, and that's what the updates are about?
Yeah, I mean, they're running this pretty much all the time, yeah.
You wouldn't have to know how often it updates.
I just read your book, Launching into the Unknown. So could you tell me what keywords were used for that book that put you at number 1?
One of them was Sudan tourism, I think, or something. And there was another one, but I can't remember what that was. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot out there that we don't know, we don't think about. But for me, I think one of the most helpful are just things like this that you can put and get ideas of things that you know, these are, is this a good search? Is this a good keyword or not? And so this is telling me no. This is telling me better. And this will tell me a lot.
You're just looking for a range there, right? You're not looking for specific numbers, just
Yeah. Because if you're going for 70 and you're a well-known author, fine. But if you're a beginning author, then you're gonna, and this will also tell you like how many sales per day you need to do to get to 1. And then of course, if you're 1, 27% more people see you than if you're 2.
You know, I wonder, does anyone here do Amazon ads at all? Does anyone dabble? I'm wondering if this would also be helpful, if it would be, to find keywords for your ads, and they are much looser than Amazon ads in what you can write. And you can say books like Stephen King or something, but you can do things in your ad keywords that you can't do.
Actually, Dave does a video on that
Yes.
specifically
Mhm.
on how to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking these are also
Yeah.
helpful. I mean, just from your talk, I wanted to say.
Because of the ads you can put in other book authors. that
Exactly. But don't do it in this. Don't do it in this. I just want you to know this, your talk is gonna cost me $97, but I almost bought this once and then I didn't. And I just wanna say, if you have a code that would help you, usually a referral code, let us know what it is in an email, because I'm probably gonna buy this like within the next week or so.
Yep.
And I'd love the PowerPoint.
Send that around.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I usually do is reply all to something Cheryl has sent out. Yes.
I have an example of Amazon pulling a keyword that I'd used. Somebody, I can't remember who to blame, suggested that I should put bestseller as a keyword
Yeah.
and try that. Have you done that? And they pulled it and they told me, you're not a bestseller. Like I didn't know that.
They also say don't put things in quotes
Yeah.
because they will move the words around. So don't, if you put them in quotes, then it has to be that.
And when you use these keywords in your Amazon ads, you can specify exact phrase if you like. But you can't do that in the 7 boxes. If you're doing Amazon ads, maybe you don't want it to be broad, like they'll pull any word out of it. Maybe you just want it, someone puts that phrase in, I want it to, I don't know. So,
Good,
I'm
thank
excited
you all.
about your talk.
Thank you.